Hello, magnificent beings. Welcome, everybody. I'm Eva Gregory, founder of the Successful Spiritual Entrepreneur Group and founder of the Enlightened Business Success Academy, where we help established coaches and spiritual entrepreneurs attract high-end clients with premium offers. I'm very excited to be here with you today. I'm thrilled, by the way, for you, whether you're here with me live or you're catching this on the replay, it's all good. I just want to remind you all that this couldn't be a more perfect time for you to be focused on building your business in a way that will support you regardless of what else is going on in the world or what other people are doing, okay? You've got a huge opportunity here to really step up, claim your gifts and talents, and set yourself up to be attracting the caliber of clients who value what you offer and who are happy to invest in your premium services and programs. And in this week's Successful Spiritual Entrepreneur live stream, I want to talk to you about how to use energy alignment to create a highly successful business that lights up your soul. All right. We are talking about energy alignment, nothing practical, nothing strategical today. But here's the thing. When you want it and you expect it, then it must be. When you keep asking the question or you keep asking for a solution, then you're actually standing in the place of the absence of that answer or the absence of that solution. So you're keeping that alive in your vibration, okay? And then you're saying, but why doesn't it come? And when you really want the answer or the solution, it can't come because there's a different frequency from where you are and where it is. And so leaving it alone in many cases is the key. In other words, you've already asked for it. So how do you set it aside and then let it in to allow it to start to bring itself to you? In other words, to attract that without thinking. How do you stop thinking about it, right? That's what we tend to do. It's a work in progress, people. It's a work in progress. You find a way of just being general about it, okay? Speaking about it in the most general sense is what's going to soften your resistance about it. Why are things already conspiring for me? Great question to ask. Or why are things already working out on my behalf? So I'm giving you the types of questions that are very general, but they're very powerful questions. So you want to look at what's being cleared out for the better to come in. That's what we're wanting to do here. What's the most important thing for me to know right now? Great question to ask yourself, especially if you're getting stuck. What is the most important thing for me to do right now? Great questions. Okay. And so when you're focused on what you want, you're like, this is what I'm wanting. I'm very clear on it. Then you want to, if you're saying, but it's not here yet, or you're taking score too soon, you have got to stop doing that. You got to change the subject. But usually there's this momentum that has started when we're doing that, right? So if you've got this need and it hasn't been filled, and especially if that need is really raw to you right now, right? It's something you really, 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 really want. Okay. You want it. You're yearning for it. You're desiring for it. You're longing for it. And guess what you're doing? You're wanting it from a place of not having it. Okay. And when you're coming from an energetic place of you want something that you don't have yet, that is going to keep you from actually attracting it. Does this make sense? I'm hoping so. You're slowing it down because the vibration, the yearning vibration, is a lot more active than the vibration of having it. Okay. Hoping this is making sense. And so it's keeping you from being a vibrational match to the very thing you want. And so what are we doing? We're literally putting the brakes on it. We're putting the pause button on the very thing that we want. And it can change in a minute if we just make our energy alignment and our vibration our top priority. You know, this is one of the things I do a lot of practical, strategical work in the Enlightened Business Success Academy, but this is the foundation. This has to be in place first, okay? And so you want to make sure that you're paying attention to your energy alignment first, foremost, and always. First, foremost, and always. And you've got to do something that's going to shift that vibration. One of the ways to do that is distraction. You know, actually, distraction is a very good thing. You can get busy on other things. You can find something to do that occupies your mind, that takes it off of the thing that you're yearning and longing for, okay? Think of everything that's already working. Great way to shift your energy. Think of times like the time when everything kind of turned around. Think of that. Reactivate the memories of things that were working. This is the one time when you're reactivating things in your past that really works well for you. All right. And so you just try to talk yourself into believing that it's coming. Okay. So being general, this is the kind of the rule of thumb. Be as detailed as you can and still be excited about it, having that excitement, that good positive energy around it. But if it's not, back off. Going more general is really a good tool. Okay. Things do work out for me, and there have been things that I've wanted that weren't there, and then they came later in time. So it's going to come. I don't need to worry about this. It's just a matter of allowing. I'm really doing a good job here. I'm doing of course, I'm getting into present moment. I'm taking the times when I'm forgetting and I'm getting worried, and I'll use that as my little reminder to get into present moment. Because I know when I'm getting into present moment, when I'm not worried about the past and I'm not worried about the future, but I'm just right here, right now, which is where all our power lies, all of that wobbly energy stops. Okay. Meditation, of course, is another good tool. Most folks who even know meditation don't really use it in the ways that are effective. They don't really use it as an energy tool in the way that it can be used. Highly recommend you use it for that. There are other things like setting your intention for a peaceful sleep and having the great ahas and insights and the pure positive energy and the new beginning energy to be what you wake up to. What's great about setting intentions as we go to sleep is that we're releasing all of our resistance from the day. Okay. That's why it's so powerful then. And remember, we're always wanting to create fresh, new. We're wanting to immerse ourselves in that. We are not wanting to change the way things have been up to now. Okay. Remember, we're talking about energy here. So if something is already manifest in the physical world, it's dense, it's already here, it's in a more solid form, it's much harder to change what's already manifest in the physical world than it is to say, okay, based on this, I'm not going to change this, but I'm going to create fresh and new what I want. Now that I'm clear, I don't want that, right? So create fresh and new. It's a very subtle difference, but it's a big difference, okay? And then you immerse yourself in that versus trying to change the way it's been up to now. Okay, I hope I'm making sense. And of course, spending a few minutes before you get up in the mornings, just get into present moment and ask yourself, what if today was my best day yet? Ask yourself that. What does that do? It focuses you exactly on what you want. It's not, what if I have another horrible day? What if I don't have a good day? That's not what we want. What if this is my best day yet? You've already opened up the channel. Vibrationally, you are focused forward. Got this? The magic begins earlier in the day when this is the way you start your day, right? The momentum starts to flow a lot earlier in the day when this is how you're focused. And what does that do? It leads to more positive thoughts rather than the worry or the fear or the anxiety or whatever the emotion is. And I will say, even when things may happen, that rather than letting it take you down, because things are going to happen, it's called life as a human being in this world of duality, right? But I will say that you manage that as best you can in the moment. That's all we're asked to do. That's all we're asked to do. And then remind yourself, all is well. It's all good in the neighborhood. I am speaking from firsthand experience here, okay? Especially where the character in Peanut, the Peanut cartoon, Charlie Brown and all that. Pigpen. He's the one that walks around. He's got that little cloud of dust following his head. My little cloud of dust is when it comes to technology and systems and computers and when they crash. I don't know what to do with them, okay? So, and I recognize that. And so I've had that experience where the system would crash and then I would feel anger and I would feel blame. And then I would have to remind myself, hey, based on that, what am I doing? I'm just creating more of the same. I'm creating more havoc. And I have nobody to blame but myself, because we are the creators of our realities, and it starts with the energy alignment first. Got it? Energy alignment. We are energetic beings. I know we feel physical. We are more energetic than we are physical. Okay. And then something else doesn't go right. And then I feel myself going back down the hole again. And then I have to remind myself, wait a minute, I know that I'm going back, I'm remembering how it was when my systems were working well, and this can be worked out too. And I'm energetically realigning. Okay. But this takes constant energy management. It's not a one and done thing, unfortunately. This is something that we do on a regular basis all the time. And even though I had set my intent for that particular day to be my best day yet, this system crash happened. What the heck? Well, guess what? I got to practice energy alignment. All right. So it still had its goodness to help lock this in for me. And when it wasn't seeming like my best day yet. And in spite of that, it all, of course, did get worked out, right? So if there's a block that you've been feeling for a while and you try to push anything away, there's no exclusion, so you just make it more. The thing that you resist, what you resist persists, right? So anytime you try to push something away, what you're doing is you're introducing it in a stronger way into the equation, which causes more resistance, yes? And then it builds, and there was why can't I get out of this, right? But here's the thing. It's actually not the outcome you're looking for in these moments. It's the feedback for how you're shifting your energy. It's your feedback for how am I feeling at the moment and how do I want to feel. This is the energy work. Got it? So there's nothing wrong. There's never anything good, bad, right, or wrong. That's what we as human beings, we apply that judgment to it. And we might not like it, or something might be painful for sure. But inherently, it's not good, bad, right, or wrong. And so if we could just say, there's nothing wrong with me, I'm not going to be critical about me, I've set the intention to have a great day, and this is the feedback that lets me know where my energy is so that now I get to shift it. Thank you, universe. That's how you hold it. Got it? Much more important than the intention of getting this to, this needs to be fixed. What's wrong here? Ask what's right. When that's our knee-jerk reaction is to go with what's wrong here. I remember back in another life when I got married in my way early life. And I remember that we were so excited that we had come back from Florida, and I lived in Georgia at the time. And we went 3:00 in the morning. I was knocking on my dad's door. And what do you think he thought? Oh my God, what's wrong? And I was like, no, I'm just letting you know I'm getting married. Right. But that was not very sensitive of me at the time, but that's what we do, right? We get at that knee-jerk reaction, okay? So you guys getting this? So if we create our own reality, and we do, and thoughts create, and they do, and you get what you think about, then we focus on thoughts. We need to be focused on the thought of how we want to feel, right? So it's more like the thought and the feeling, the think and feel, think and feel, think and feel, think and feel, think and notice, think and notice. And if you're not feeling how you want it, how do I want to feel? Another great question to ask. It always immediately turns you around vibrationally. How do I want to feel? And then you hone it and you refine it, one thought, one feeling at a time. And you're paying attention to that feedback, not the physical manifestation yet, okay? That's the last part of the process that you create based on the feedback that you're getting based on how you're feeling, okay? So it's like a sculptor who's sculpting the clay, and they're tweaking it, and they're changing it here, and they're changing it there, and they're refining it, they're removing some, and they're putting some back. They're taking the feedback, and from the feedback, they're responding to the sculptor. For us, it's responding and refining our thoughts and our feelings, our focus, more responsive thoughts, okay? So what influence are you under when it's based on your thinking or when you're taking action? When we're clearing things that aren't going the way we want to, where's our focus, right? And so then you start to try to figure out, what do I need to do to improve this? And you never get good answers if that's where you're focused. You're definitely not in the receiving mode, and you can tell based on how you feel. You can tell the difference in that, and when you're just feeling satisfied and content, happy, You feel like I'm moving forward. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling inspired. It's useful for us to really practice what this receiving mode really feels like and what the receiving mode from something else feels like. So find something where you've been in a receiving mode and you've gotten what you wanted, right? You want to practice that. You want to practice what's the influence you're under when you're feeling this emotion. When I'm feeling upset and angry, what's the influence I'm under? What's it going to create more of? Whatever the feeling, whatever the emotion is, whether it feels good or bad, just ask yourself, what's the influence I'm under? Is this a good feeling or is this not? And as soon as you figure that out, which is simple, that's easy to do, then if it's a good feeling, you just continue doing what you're doing, right? You continue to be content, everything from content to enthusiasm to excitement, and everything in between. Awesome. Just keep moving in that direction. You are in the receiving mode. And if it doesn't feel good, then what am I under the influence? I'm under the influence of my own doubts, my own fears, my own worries, somebody else's paranoia, maybe. Somebody else who thinks they know better than you. And then now we've created momentum around that, all right? But most people don't think about momentum of thoughts. Well, law of attraction causes momentum in everything. Because if you hold a thought, now remember this years ago, Abraham Hicks said 17 seconds was when one thought would coalesce with another thought similar to it. And then it was, and then there's 4 thoughts at 68 seconds. And that's when things start to begin to come into the manifestation, into the physical world, right? And so we get to shift that. So if you're doing 17 seconds and it wasn't what you wanted, just shift it. Everything is liquid. Nothing is in concrete. That's the good news, right? And so if you hold a thought for as little as 16 or 17 seconds, another thought similar to it's going to join it. And now you hold that thought. Another thought like that is going to join it until once you get over a minute, 68 seconds, right, of that kind of momentum. Oh my gosh, this is where you start to affect change in your life, in your results. And you're thinking, oh my God, it's so simple. Yeah, simple, not necessarily easy sometimes. I've gone through this process and I wanted to shift, and something that was supposedly going to take 68 seconds, I would get halfway through and then some niggle would come in or some doubt would come in, and then, so begin again. Energy alignment, energy work, guys. This is where we have to start. This has to be your top priority. I hope that I'm hammering this home, right? And it doesn't take much for you to be able to do this, okay? It's actually a very short period of time. It's just that sometimes we can't even get through 16 seconds. It's like, I want a new car. And in the same breath, we say, but I can't afford it. You were just activating that car, and then you put the pause button on, right? I want a new client this week, but I'm not sure I'm going to get it. Or you reactivate what's been like in the past, right? So then you just begin again. That's all. And so this is why we want to check into how does it feel. Energy alignment is about feeling. Your thoughts will create a feeling, but the feeling is the activation, is the vibrational activation. How does it feel? Look for something, anything when you're not feeling good that'll have you feel just even a tad better, just an inkling better. Any relief in your energy is movement forward, okay? You don't have to make quantum leaps here. That's what I see a lot of people wanting to do. And then they judge themselves and they're critical because they didn't do it or this wasn't good enough. One of my favorite quotes, winners take imperfect action while losers are busy perfecting their plan. And it goes for energy alignment as well, all right? But when you can think and feel, and you can feel just a little bit better, maybe it'll take some time, but then you focus on that energy alignment, how you want to feel, and you feel a little bit better. What you finally prove to yourself is that it may take a little bit of time, one step at a time, but then there's no place you can't go. We just need to baby step it. I am such a huge proponent of baby steps. Baby steps lead to quantum leaps. Baby steps lead to avalanches of goodness. But it's a work in progress. It is a work in progress. So there is no one and done when it comes to law of attraction, unfortunately. I wish I could say there is. And when you're in this place and you're reaching for the place that feels better and better and better, you have to understand, if you're watching the news, if you're watching what's going on in the world, maybe even in your own lives, and you're seeing things that are not working well, and now you're focused not on getting sucked into that, and you might, and that's okay too, don't judge yourself if you do, but you focus on what would feel better right now. Then when you feel connected, you don't need anyone else or your environment to change. When you're in that place, you are connected to source energy. You are connected to your source. You alone are more powerful than millions who are not. We are all creating our own realities. And there's so much leverage when you have that absence of contradicted energy. And yet almost no one is working on this at all. Almost no one is working on energy first. They just kind of bumble through life. They bumble through building their businesses, and they're just taking things as they come. And then when something happens, they wallow in it, or they keep talking about it. They keep reactivating it, and then it keeps it going. Yep. So do you know something could have happened to you 20 years ago? That's in your past. It doesn't even exist anymore. The only thing that exists ever is our present moment, right? But you remember that thing, and it would not affect your vibration negatively at all until you reactivate it and start talking about it again. It wouldn't even be in the mix if you weren't talking about it. 19 years ago, it wouldn't have been in the mix, or 18 years or 17 years. A lot of the reasons we talk about these things is because we're trying to justify something, right? Maybe you're trying to be entertaining. I just remember a colleague I used to work with, and man, she had her life. It was just one thing after the other, and she would constantly bring it up, and she would make stories about it, and the stories would be funny, but she was keeping it active. And the point we want to make here is you keep things that weren't satisfying when they happen active in your they happen to be active in your vibration. And then they continue to not be satisfying. And then they keep piling energetically, it keeps piling up on you. It's not that that thing is still here, affecting what you're doing. It's that you are activating it by bringing it back in, by talking about it. Got it? And you want to be the reason that the fresh new things are coming in. One of the great things you could say is, that was then, this is now. But Eva, you've always had this issue when it comes to, you've never been good at admitting that was then, this is now. Okay? Bring yourself back to that. That was then, this is now. And then you be the reason to focus on the way you want it to be. But most important, guys and gals, basic question. How do I want to feel? It will always turn you forward. It will always put you back towards the positive. Because we all want to feel good, content, satisfied, worthy, whatever those things are. But it's all forward, it's all positive. And the good news is when you ask yourself that and you focus this way, you cannot look forward and behind at the same time. So pick one, pick forward, all right? You can't deactivate something either, which is why you don't want to change it. Because when you say, I want to deactivate this thing, where's your focus? It's on the very thing you say you want to deactivate, which keeps it activated. I'm really teaching Law of Attraction 101 here, but it is so important. It is so important that we use energy alignment. We make energy alignment be the first and foremost and always aspect of our lives before anything else. But you focus on what you do want. Then you focus on what I want. I don't want to try to change this thing that I do not like, because where are you? I'm focused on the thing I do not like. But I want to take that for clarity and say, now I want to create fresh and new this situation, this business, these types of clients, these successes. Got it? Subtle difference, very subtle difference. So just present moment. I'm telling you right now, anytime you're feeling this way, get into present moment. That's all we got right here and now. You're not worried about anything. You're not judging anything, blaming, feeling bad about what's been up to this place in the past. You're not worried about the future. You're just right here, right now. that takes the focus off everything and puts you in that neutral place where you're connected to source energy. Got it? Take the focus off it altogether. You deliberately put it on something you know always has you feel better. Put a touchstone in your pocket. That's what I call them. That you know you can pull out at times like these. You can meditate. You can watch uplifting YouTube. There's lots of guided meditations and things like that on YouTube. Abraham YouTube videos. Oh my gosh, the best. Whatever it takes. And usually within 15 to 20 minutes, you'll feel relief, if not before then. And that's how you know you are now realigned to what it is you're wanting to create in your business and your life. Quieting your mind is the best. So there's the physical you and there's the inner guidance you. And the more that you can quiet your physical mind, the more your inner guidance, the non-physical you, is active. So when you quiet your mind, just for a brief moment even, in time, you move, your vibration rises. You are literally open the channel to your success. You open your channel to your connection to source. And it's like the frequency of your inner guidance is this magnetic point of attraction for you. And when you're not offering any opposing vibration, you go right into vibrational alignment with that. And now you're in sync with whatever your new intention is without even hitting it head on. Again, how do I want to feel? Get into present moment. Feel the literal shift in your energy. Feel, feel, feel. That's my message today. That's my message. And the thing is that whatever was active that you didn't want before is no longer active at this moment. You don't have to wait. Like I had 20 years of being negative. Do I have to work on it for another 20 years? No, you can shift it in the moment. Now, you might fall back into it because that's old habit, but then you keep shifting it. You keep shifting it until finally there becomes a tipping point where you'll look back and you're not doing that anymore. It's a work in progress. It's not one and done. Okay? And that old thing that was happening before, is active before, is no longer active for you. Okay? And then what happens? You will be focused on the positive, and now you're being guided. Watch for synchronicities. Watch for serendipities. Watch for the guidance that comes in all these unexpected ways. Something's going to happen. You'll hear a song. Somebody will say a word that will trigger something. All kinds of triggers in your environment, right? And so if you quiet your mind, and I am recommending strongly, you only need 15 minutes a day, guys and gals. You only need 15 minutes a day. And if you want to do it longer, great. But 15 minutes a day of just quiet. I recommend doing it before you get out of bed in the morning, just before you get up. That way it's done. You don't have to worry about it the rest of the day, but you're setting the tone for the day. And it's a compounding effect that happens here, okay? It's like going to the gym. We can't work out today and then 2 months later go back to the gym. But if we do a little bit today and a little bit 2 days from now, a little bit 2 days from now, there's this compounding effect. So consistency is key. It's not about the time, it's about the consistency. Make sense? And then there could be a point where you can't even remember the last time that you had those issues or that they came up. Or if something comes up, you don't have that knee-jerk reaction anymore. It just like rolls off your back. Literally, what you're doing is you're changing your energetic frequency, your vibrational frequency. And when you change your vibrational frequency, you are changing your perspective. And when you change your perspective, you are literally, ready for this, changing your past. You're changing your past, really. It changes your relationship with your past. And you're now this moment in time is overriding everything that you had lived up to now. So if it's like, I never get clients, I never make enough money, it's hard to build my business, get those out of your essence and your energy. How do you want to feel? What do you want? I don't care if it's been that way for 20 years. Stop it now. Like, stop the madness, right? And a lot of times that can feel confusing to us because we do have memory, but we want to release that memory. What our memory is transmitting and receiving, it's energy that's transmitting and receiving. In other words, we don't have a storage cabinet. The storing all this stuff, we are transmitting and receiving vibrations. And then we're translating those into what we call our memory or our knowledge. So sit with that for just a moment. So everything is being written over. It's just, we keep writing it over with the same things. Got it? We just keep rewriting it with the same things. It's like computer programs. Want to rewrite a computer program. We're going to overwrite that with a new program. Okay? We're going to update it. So you can make it change. You can make those changes. All right? And then things that used to be active that you kept updating, you're not updating anymore because you're overwriting it with fresh new programs. So they don't keep coming up for you. And in their place is this new perspective. There's this new point of attraction. Everything is liquid. Nothing is in concrete. Okay? Everything is always changing. But for the most part, it's always changing to the same thing over and over again because we keep having the same thoughts about the same sorts of things. Okay? And then we keep just coming up to things in the old way. And then it feels like things aren't getting better. Well, things are changing. They are changing. But they're changing to what's active in your vibration. It's like overwriting that computer program with more computer programs that are like it, right? So our work is to, even when things go sideways, and it feels like things were fine before, and you go, oh my God, what just happened? Instead of getting into your head and focusing on what went wrong, why is this happening? Focus first and foremost on how you want to feel. This is your shortcut. How do I want to feel? Make that your dominant intent. Even if it takes all day to find your way to that. Believe me, it's worth it. When I had my last computer crash, 2 days, it was moment by moment, shifting my energy. And now, the last time I had a computer issue, it was nothing like that. Oh, good. I'm clearly clearing that out, right? So just, you have to surrender is another good word that's coming up for me right now. Surrender. Hey, okay. Here's the issue I'm having right now. But just let it go. How do I want to feel right now? I can choose to feel frustrated and upset, or I can surrender. That is my big word that works for me. What's better being birthed here? Another great question to ask. Something greater is wanting to be born. And that could be that it's just that one thing that's going to have you focus on the energy alignment. It's going to kick you over to the other side, past that tipping point, so you don't deal with this anymore. A lot of things that look bad are actually not. They're there for a reason, okay? So I hope there's twists and turns that are happening as we're doing this. I hope this is all making sense for you guys. But anything that's showing up for you that is not where you want it to be, especially as you're focused on your business. We've got to get your energy aligned around your business. If you want a highly successful business, you lead with this energy work. How do I want to feel? What do I want? So I didn't get the client. Great. How do I want to feel? Now what do I want? Thank you. Gratitude and appreciation for what is on its way before you ever see it. Of course, it's always on. So there you go, Kokomos. The bottom line message is energy alignment first, foremost, and always. And simply do the best that we can moment by moment. And ultimately, in spite of what things look like, all is well and things can change for you and for me and for all of us, actually. So there you go. Big, big heart hugs, lots of love.